Congratulations on a beautifully done film. I was lucky enough to see it a few days ago and was blown away as an I Love Lucy fan to forget that I was watching Nicole and Javier play these iconic people. So I'd love for you to just talk to me a little bit about one, building the chemistry in a pandemic, no less. What was it like for the two of you to kind of get into the rhythm via Zoom?
Well, I mean, the screenplay was so strong. So, Aaron Sorkin wrote this magnificent screenplay. So you have that to start. And yeah, we rehearsed with Aaron. We would do some read throughs over the Zoom, but there really was very little time.
Yeah, it was not too much time to rehearse. I'm always saying that we met on Thursday and we were shooting on Monday. And that's a lot to say for any movie, but especially if you're playing Lucy and Desi, because the chemistry is so strong. But it happened because we put ourselves into it, and the souls of those beautiful two people were accompanying us
Yeah.
in a way.
Was there any pressure to get it exactly right, or do you just kind of breathe new life into it?
No, I spent 2 months preparing for that scene, for the things that were all of the black and white footage in the film. That was something I was able to actually sort of really focus on, and that was my way into Lucy. So it was incredibly freeing to be able to physically play her that way, and then creating Lucille Ball, which is very, very different to Lucy Ricardo. And that was something that that's the one thing Aaron said, is he said she has a different voice. Lucille had a very deep voice. Lucy Ricardo had a much more higher resonant voice. What about you, Javier?
Me, I have the voice, one voice.
Well, kind of, but...
Yeah, I mean, Desi was pretty much like one. He will speak. We had access to some private recordings that Lucy, the daughter, shared with us, and you could hear Desi, in this case, speaking to the family and to the colleagues, and he would speak like mostly the same like he was speaking on the show. Maybe on the show he was making his accent a little bit more, even stronger, to make to make fun of it.
Well, when we spoke to Aaron Sorkin just a little bit ago, he said that within 60 seconds of meeting you on Zoom, Javier, he knew that you were Desi. What does that mean to you to
Wow.
get that sort of recognition from the guy?
I wish I would have known that in the moment I met him, because I thought he was like not interested at all. Well, he knew that I was chasing the role, and I was really very much like looking for it, and I prepared myself for that meeting, and I really wanted to play it. And I guess that's what he meant. He saw me very much with not only the wanting, but the need of playing this role. And that's what you want, an actor that is committed to really go with it because he really wants it. I guess that's what he meant.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicole, you talked a little bit about the difference between Lucille Ball and Lucy Ricardo. I felt that immediately watching it within minutes. I said, oh, these are two very different people, two very different women. What was it like for you learning her physicality? From what I understand, you went to a movement coach. You talked about 2 months for that one scene alone. At what point
I
did
had
you
a fantastic dialect coach, Tom Jones, who he was so patient with me, and we would work on the voice. And usually I work, on all of the inside and the text first. But this was, for some reason, I had to work on all of the externals, like the voice and the physical movements, because she's moved so differently to me. I mean, she's so different to me, and it was a fantastic thing at this stage in my career to get my teeth into that, but also to have the support, and the patience, because a lot of the people that we were working with, I mean, you were learning music and I was learning comedy.
Right.
Stomping grapes.
Right. Stomping the grapes. You talk about that physicality, normally going from internal to external, because Lucille Ball was such a physical comedian, a physical performer. What was the moment you looked in the mirror and said, I see not just Lucille Ball, but Lucy Ricardo, right? When was the first moment that you
I
like,
didn't look in the mirror much.
never did?
I mean, I really didn't.
Really?
No, because if I looked in the mirror, I'd be like, help. So I just basically trusted Aaron. I mean, this screenplay is exquisite. I always say I wish people got the chance to read the words, to read this screenplay, because so much of the heart and the layers that these people that comes through in the film, that's all on the page. We then had to interpret it, but you know, Aaron was very, very clear. Don't be looking in the mirror. Don't be focusing on your face and the way you look. I mean, yes, for some, her movements and the way her eyes and her mouth and everything, that's very specific. But at the same time, create a real human being. He was adamant about that. And he wanted the chemistry and the relationship and the marriage to be the most important part of the film.
Yeah. And to your point, the film shows us about the impact that Hollywood had on this marriage. The scene about them meeting at Mulholland, two ships passing in the night, you know, before they go on to, it really resonated with me. Was there anything that resonated with you two? Obviously, power couples in Hollywood who are navigating not just personal lives and marriage, but in the spotlight.
To me, the fact that Desi was a foreigner in a foreign country trying to bring his flavor and his view of things into society that maybe was not so open to it, and that I kind of understood. But that was a different time and it was a different situation. But that got me emotionally or personally linked to what his goal was in some way.
Nicole, what would you add to that? Obviously, navigating marriage in the spotlight, having the Ricardos, a couple that so obviously were affected by that. Was there anything that resonated with you?
I mean, they were amazing because they created Desilu Productions. I didn't know that. They were extraordinary in the sense of what they did together creatively and business. They carved the path for so many of us as actors who are now producing. I mean, both of them together were exquisitely talented. But, you know, Desi was a fantastic businessman, and he taught Lucille a lot. When they broke up, Lucy Arnaz said to me her mother didn't like doing the business side of it. She loved the comedy. She loved the creative side. But suddenly she was having to learn to advocate and deal with all the business side of things. I mean, they didn't only just have the I Love Lucy show. They had Star Trek, they had Mission Impossible, they had so many other I mean, it's pretty extraordinary, the empire. I mean, they bought RKO at one point.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
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 Unbelievable.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they created an empire and they were very powerful.
Absolutely. And really quickly before I let you go, we know you ran the voices across Keith. What did he think about it the first time you presented Lucille Ball and Lucy Ricardo?
I didn't ever do Lucille Ball because that was something that was not a performance. It was coming from within me. The Lucy Ricardo was I had to work on it. So when I first did it, I think it was like, yikes. But that's what I mean by working with my dialect coach, where he was very patient and he sort of just would say, you're going to get this. And we would listen, and then I would do the sounds, and then we would listen. But it was interesting because we didn't do it phonetically. I'm speaking in jargon now that's maybe out of reach for a lot of people, but the phonetics of it was not the way in. It wasn't that technical. I really had to sort of listen and feel it and trust that the shape of my mouth and the way my body would move would produce the sound eventually.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful job. Well done. Thank you so much for your time and congratulations on the film. I loved it.
Thank you.